From the California School for the Deaf in Riverside, it is the CSDR Cubs taking on the Knights of Foothills Christian right here on Riverside TV in our Riverside TV Game of the Week. Hi, everybody. J.R. Ibarra along with the coach John Rice bringing you tonight's action here from CSDR with eight-man football. If you've not had the opportunity to witness eight-man football, it is quite an exciting bit of competition. In fact, Coach, you started off your career in an eight-man type of scenario. Tell us a little bit about the nuances of what kind of things we'll see in tonight's game.
My first head coaching job was in 1998 in Colorado, and it was eight-man football, and so I had gone 14 years coaching 11-man, so we adapted and we tried to run a version of the wing T. Of course, you're playing with five on the line and three that are not on the line, and the numbers, there's no number requirements. The field is only 80 yards wide, so you have to go, there's a 40-yarder to divide the field, so there's 20 yards less. It's only 40 yards wide rather than 53, so it is a faster game. There's more space, and if you have an athlete, they can make more of a difference in a ball game, someone who dominates. And then conditioning is definitely an issue, for sure, in depth.
It is a very fast-paced game. In fact, if you know, here for the California School for the Deaf in Riverside, they have been champions for the last 2 seasons here out of this campus, as they have really raised the bar here for eight-man football in sunny Southern California. On the opposite side of the field, Foothills Christian, also a championship team, as they won the Division 6 crown in the CIF San Diego region, and they have a mindset tonight of coming in and treating this like a championship football game.
You know, the culture, we talked to the head coach, and he was just very pleased, and his expectations are very high of their culture. They expect to win. They're a little disappointed they don't get to go on in the state playoffs. He doesn't feel they really got enough respect statewide. So for his program, this is a Southern California state championship, and they look raring to go.
That's a great way to start off week number 1 here in CIF play, where we have 2 of the best teams in eight-man football in the Southern California region matching up into tonight's contest. Well, the Cubs will be receiving here to start off things for our week number 1 of CIF action with Riverside TV. Great to have you along with us here. Looks like back to receive will be Gio Visco, and he'll be accompanied with Matthew Silve, as they will get things going and rumbling here for the Cubs of Riverside. Riverside in the darker gray uniforms, and it is the purple and white there for Foothills Christian. And we're just a moment away of getting things kicked off and getting our season kicked off, if you will, here for Riverside TV.
Really interested to see the strength of Foothills kicker. Their head coach said he is exceptional.
You don't normally see a whole lot of kicking for point afters, but that might be a little bit different tonight. Looks like Visco will get the grab here as he'll take it. Still on his feet. Got some daylight. Looks like he's going to go to the house and score.
No flags down on the field, and what a way to open the 2024 season.
That was Matthew Silve. I misspoke. I thought that was Gio Visco, but just like that, he took it right from about his own 12-yard line and takes it all the way to the score. And just like that, we have a 6-0 ball game in favor of CSDR Riverside.
Great.
Now, as we said, the kicking game is not always something you see a whole lot of here with eight-man football. So for most of the time, especially for CSDR, you'll see them try to do a 2-point after attempt here, which is really common for a lot of things you'll see in eight-man football competition.
So 3 wideouts.
In the backfield, it is Caden Adams, the son of Coach Keith Adams. And here he is on the snap. Going to roll out to his right, looking down, throws it in, and it is good. He connects with Gio Visco for the point after. So just like that, at 11:47 early in the first quarter, we already have 6 points on the scoreboard here, Coach.
Looking forward to a great night. If this is any indication of what's going to happen, they're going to be explosive on offense. They're 2 big players last year. Both of these players had a great ball game. Caden Adams threw for near 300 yards. He had almost 400 yards total offense, and Visco was their leading receiver. I believe he had about 180, 190 yards receiving. So right away they depend on their 2 best athletes, and they're up 8-0.
That is what you're likely to see for most of this contest. If you look at some of the past games from 23 and 22, it was not uncommon to see scores of 50, 60, 70 put up by the Cubs of CSDR. So, folks, put on the seatbelts because it's going to be a fast game here tonight. So just like that, the Cubs will be kicking off here to the Knights. That will get the football for the very first time. Looks like back to receive is Caleb Stieglitz, a wide receiver for the Knights.
If you're interested, last year's game was a 28-26 affair with a lot of yards, not as many points.
Onside kick, or kind of a pooch kick, although that will go out of bounds, and it looks like the Knights will take possession of it.
So when we were talking to the head coach, Foothills head coach, he did say that they had a new wrinkle in their offense. They were running a little bit of option. He had been the offensive coordinator for a few years, and he had handed it over to one of his assistants who was an option disciple and did play at the Air Force Academy. So it will be real interesting to see if they're going to employ, how much they're going to employ the option tonight.
First down and 10 here for the Knights of Foothills Christian. As we may or not have mentioned, they come down from the San Diego region all the way down in El Cajon, kind of your neck of the woods, Coach,
yeah,
where there's obviously a bit of traveling to do, and that's kind of the case for a lot of these 8-man teams because they come from such small schools. So here we are operating at their own 35. First and 10, first play of scrimmage for the game. Roll out, and just like we thought, an option. It looks like he's caught in the backfield for a loss. Credit on the tackle, Lucas Go.
We have the four-year starter at quarterback for Foothill, and option defense is assignment defense. You've got to account for the quarterback, a dive back, and a pitch back, and they had it nailed.
So it looks like it will be a gain for 0 yards. Maybe they'll credit him with 1, and now, again, rolling out to his left and not able to connect with his intended receiver, which was Jacob Hawkins.
Interesting unbalanced formation here to the near side. They had a tight end over and rolled to their strength and couldn't complete it. So now we got second down.
Actually,
third down,
now we're in a third down and
Yep.
9 situation.
There we go.
Third and long here, Coach. So you're looking at a
Yep.
potential, obviously, passing play to try to get themselves to move those yardsticks here. Hernandez going to go back, looking down, has a field, and picked off. Just like that, and we have nothing but green, and all the way to the house will be Isaiah Baxter Davis.
Fantastic return on the rollout. The tight end was crossing from the opposite side. The ball was thrown, and Isaiah just picked it off and took it to the house. So what a fantastic quick start. You couldn't ask for anything better if you're a Cub fan.
This is a lot like what we saw back from 21, 22, and 23 with the Cubs. We'll take a second look at this one. What might have been a breakdown here, Coach?
I think they got behind the chains, and they don't want to throw the ball. They were an 80% run team last year.
Look at
So
that.
they don't want to be behind the sticks.
Wow. Such a great way to start off here the first quarter. We'll take another look at this. Actually, we'll go to the point after attempt. As we said, usually a 2-point. And it's a keeper by Adams, and he's in for the score.
Philosophy is a little bit different. The Cubs want to spread out the defense with 3 wideouts and make your defense spread to cover that, and then opens up running lanes. And then you see the opposite on the other side of the field where Foothill packs it in with 5 linemen and brings everybody in the box.
So just like that, less than 2 minutes into the game, we're already at 16-0 here, Coach.
Fantastic if you love offensive football.
So as we said, it's an exciting type of football here with 8-man. And I tell you what, the Cubs, they have brought such a new level of play here to Riverside, Coach, when things really began to turn around for them in the 2021 season. Coach Adams was talking to us before the game, and he was saying that really maybe that situation with COVID really helped solidify and just codify just the connection that these players had with each other and just raising that program to another level here.
You know, the culture, when you have kids that buy in and they really appreciate football, because there's always somebody willing to work, and it does take tremendous sacrifice on a personal level and a family level. And he said COVID seemed to just crystallize that, where people took football seriously.
Yeah, and there's really another level of commitment here that you're seeing with the Cubs. Caleb Stieglitz will be back once again to receive for the Knights of Foothills. And on the kickoff, Darius Zaremka with the kickoff, and on his feet has some green himself. Just like that, I'm not seeing any kind of flags on the field.
I don't see any flags either.
Oh, my gosh. So Stieglitz will take it to the house for the kickoff return, and just like that, they're back into the game, Coach.
We've had 2 kickoffs, 2 to the house, and an interception to the house.
That is astounding. Let's take a second look at that. Not a very strong kickoff. He'll pick it up right at about his 16-yard line.
And they lost contain and good cut up the field off of a squib kick.
Was able to see the hole quite distinctly and take it back for the run back. So just like that, they've got 6 on the scoreboard and back in this game.
Another factor is you've got 20 yards less to get to score at the kickoffs. So we are going to see a kick here. Unusual.
Marshall Hensley, a freshman, is your kicker. So even though most 8-man teams select to go with a 2-point attempt, Foothills is going to go with a kick that puts it up. Looks like it's good, and it is. So just like that, it is a 16-7 contest. But nonetheless, as we mentioned to you folks, this is the type of game that you might see almost like indoor arena football.
It's got to be exciting if you're a parent, especially of an offensive player. But I'm telling you that when you're watching a first game like that, Foothills head coach and his staff, they're confident. Their culture is confident. They just need to settle down. And really, they ran 3 offensive plays, and their leading offensive player, their fullback, didn't touch the ball. So I'm sure you're going to see him get into his rhythm here, and they'll try to establish some time and get the ball to their best player.
We're only at 10:56 here in the first quarter, already looking at a 16-7 points on the scoreboard. So, folks, we're likely to have another one of those high-scoring contests tonight. So,
minute and 4 seconds? Is that right?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Minute and 4 seconds, 3 touchdowns. I love it.
That is crazy.
Let's go Cubs.
Well, let's do this. Beautiful way to start off our CIF coverage here for the city of Riverside. Looks like a pooch kick by the Knights. That'll be picked up. It is Davis on the return, still on his feet, turns the corner, finally gets bumped out of bounds. Looks like Stieglitz was the man to give him the hit, and that's where the Cubs will operate here with a 1st down and 10.
Excellent pursuit. He tried to take it wide, and they had great coverage. People stayed in their lanes. They didn't collapse too much. You'll see him on the squib kick just pick it up and try to go all the way across the field, but they did a really good job stringing it out, making a great play.
And again, as Coach mentioned earlier, we do have a much more narrower field to play with 40 yards versus 53. So essentially that too kind of maybe plays in a factor with the way things are done from a kickoff and punt return scenario.
Especially we've seen short kicks. Beside the first one, we've seen 2 squib kicks.
So you got 2 receivers spread. You got 2 in the backfield. Caden Adams making the call here. Looks like he'll do the keeper as he rolls out to his left, picks up 5, 6, now 10, 12, 15 yards on the carry.
Excellent job. New formation, 2 backs, just a quarterback sweep with the backs leading. Got his shoulder put down, positive yards.
Looks like it may come back, though. I believe that it's going to be a holding call against the Cubs, so that will nullify that particular play. So just like that, the Cubs getting the first flag of the night between both of these ball clubs.
So one thing we noticed, the Cubs have come out in several different formations. 2 backs, 1 back, 3 wideouts, no wideouts. And we'll see what they do to here.
Looks like they'll once again 2 receiver spread, 2 set back.
Yep.
Typical kind of lineup here with a center and 2 guards right at the line of scrimmage. So you have 5 men on the line, which is according to the rules. And now the keeper once again to Adams. This time he's going to get wrapped up after a game of maybe 3 on the carry. Want to credit Josh Hawkins for being one of the initial defenders to make the stop there against Adams.
You got to be a tremendous athlete to be able to throw and run the ball over the course of a game. And and as we talked to Coach Adams, they don't have a lot of backups. There'll be a lot of kids playing Ironman football, and now you got 3rd down. They're behind this, or second down.
Second down
yeah. Because of the penalty, and they're at 2nd and 12.
Yeah, 2nd and 12 scenario here, so they're looking at a little bit of distance to try to get themselves a 1st down, but nonetheless, this is a team very capable of making that. Adams. Once again, Adams on the keeper. He's going to get wrapped up once again. He'll gain maybe 5 on the carry. Give credit to Jacob Hawkins for making the stop there for the Knights.
You know, beside the extra points, we haven't seen them throw the ball. So maybe they saw something, or they think that they can run the ball and exploit them a little bit, soften them up, and because they certainly can throw the ball. Certainly can throw the ball, and they did so last year.
3rd and long is your call here, as we're just about 9.5 to play here in the first quarter. Already 16-7 in favor of the Cubs of CSDR. Great to have you along with us here on Riverside TV. So let's see what the Cubs do here on this 3rd down play. It is Gio Visco on the carry. Has some grain, picks up the 1st down and some yardage plus.
Tell you, that is an impressive and confident play call when you're 3rd and 8 and you run a sweep into the short side of the field. And it seems like we have some movement, maybe a flag.
Let's see, is this one going to get called back? It could be. Take a look. Yeah, oh boy. Holding has been kind of the Achilles heel. That is the second holding call here just within the last series.
Different situation now. Now you're behind the sticks even more. But they're only putting it at 11, so now you got a yard shorter, right? You got 3rd and 11.
Well, they've
or did they move it? Yeah,
they
3rd and 11.
Yeah, they have obviously gotten themselves out of the hole before. They've proven they can get themselves out of the hole.
Now they're different.
Adams is back as your quarterback. He'll be back to pass. Looking long. Picked off. And it looks like Stieglitz is the one who comes up with a rock, so the turnover will go in favor of the Knights of Foothills. So just like that, we've seen 2 picks tonight here in this ball game.
You know, so they run the ball several times in a row, and then they go to 3 wide outs and throw a little post pattern. Safety sits back on the ball, and he just outplays the receiver for the ball.
Taking a second looking at this one, Coach, you see him looking down. Really, it was
ball's a little underthrown.
A little bit underthrown, as you see there. Stieglitz coming up with a rock. So it'll be a 1st down and 10 here for the Knights. Their 2nd series of the night.
There you go.
Hernandez gives it up to his big man, Cameron Brown, who gets wrapped up.
Impressive stop.
Yeah, boy, look at that. There's several different Cubs around making the stop there. That includes the likes of Sylvain as well as Zaremka.
Usually in option football, when you're defending all 3 parts of the option, you want to dictate who carries the ball. And they do not want 32 to carry the ball. He's their best offensive threat.
No gain on the run here, so it'll be a 2nd and looks like we may have movement here by the Knights. So that'll set them back 5. So that is the 3rd flag we've seen of the night, but this time going against Foothills.
So getting behind the sticks is not the favorite thing of an option football team. And they've ran one pass. They ran one pass play. It's been picked off for a score. So now they're behind the sticks again.
So now you're in a 2nd and long scenario here. Let's see what the Knights come up. Looks like it'll be a give and a loss. Cameron Brown on the carry, but just like that, he's caught behind the line of scrimmage, and that will really put them further back in the hole here.
So they have given him two carries, but the Cubs have been all over it, and now they're behind the sticks again. Now you're 3rd and 15, 16. They've thrown one pass. We'll see what they do here. They try to put it up again.
Clock rolling, just about 7.5 to play here in the first quarter. As you see, 16-7 in favor of the Cubs. Back to pass. Hernandez being chased out of the pocket, looking over to his right. Has a man open, dumps it off. Still on his feet. Close to the 1st down marker. It kind of depends where it gets spotted. Credit the reception there to Jackson Bailey, a senior, 5'11" and 165. So it may just be shy of a 1st down here. Kind of depends where the spot is at.
Nice boot action, traditional boot action, 11-man football, except they had a little twist. They sent the running back backside. So instead of throwing across the field to a crossing tight end, they threw it back to the running back, and he did a great job to get him within 2 yards.
Well, scratch that, Coach. It is a flag. Looks like an illegal use of the hands offensively here by the Knights. And that will nullify a really effective-looking play.
Longest play of the short game, and now they're behind the sticks. But they only have 11 to go now.
So a 3rd and long scenario here for Foothills. Sending a man in motion, back to pass, rolling out to his right, dumps it off. Catch is made, and now taking it all the way into the 20-yard line. Nice reception made by Ryder Molokhanov.
Effective play design, had a jet sweep, and then a boot action off of it. Nice and everybody's keying on 32. Their running back, as you'll see here, boots across. A tight end came from across the field, right into the boundary. Excellent little toss. Tucks the ball and gets down the field.
First down now. Ball's going to be spotted right at about the 21-yard line here of the Cubs. So this gives the opportunity here for the Knights to try to punch in another one and put it on the scoreboard with just under 7 minutes here in the first quarter of play.
So Foothills had a few passes, and they were both play-action passes where they were able to get the defense of the Cubs playing the run, keying their best player, and then throwing to crossing tight ends, and the other one was the running back. So a good counter for their senior quarterback who's been there for 4 years, 4-year starter.
Joe Mackey, head coach here for the Foothills Christian Knights, is having a bit of a discussion. I think he's still contending the previous flag, even though he got a first down. I'm not sure he was kind of arguing the case from the previous play.
You know, there's such a thing as definitely working the crowd, and so they declined. They declined a defensive penalty, it looked like.
Okay, from what it looks like, yeah. So that will obviously advance the football and give them a first down in scoring position here right at the 20-yard line. So that was the discussion between head coach Joe Mackey and the referees here. So it's first down scenario for the Knights. They're looking things over at the side here. Joe Mackey, 9 years at the helm as head coach here for the Knights, has had a really effective time with this program. Give goes right up the gut, and let's see how much yardage they are credited with. Maybe the stop right at the line of scrimmage there.
Very interesting. Split backs and just running dive option. Give to the fullback, and both the running backs are in three-point stances, which is not very common anymore.
Jackson Bailey was your ball carrier. He'll be credited with 1 yard on the carry, so it'll now make it a 2nd and 9 scenario here for the Knights, sending a man in motion. Your ball carrier is Cameron Brown. He'll take it for a carry of about 4 to 5 yards before he's wrapped up and brought down.
Empty formation, jet sweep, get him around, lean forward, move the ball.
I don't have any stats on Brown in terms of his weight, but he looks to be like a pretty beefy kid there, Coach.
He could be playing anywhere in Riverside for his size and speed. He looks like he's tremendously put together.
So we're going to call it a 3rd and 3 situation as we're near 5.5 here in the first, and the give is over to the ball carrier, Jackson Bailey. He'll get wrapped up, looks like behind the line of scrimmage for a possible loss here.
Now it looked like they just flipped the play and ran jet sweep toward their bench. Great effort, tackling, getting people to the ball. And now you got a 4th down play. So here you go.
So what are you going to call in a situation like this, Coach?
They've been effective running play action, fake run and throwing to tight ends coming across the set. We'll see if they do that again.
4th down and 3 here for the Knights. Let's see what they dial up on the bootleg. And the carry looks like it'll be enough for a first down here.
Excellent job on the naked. Now you got another flag.
Officials have been rather active tonight. Take a second look at this. Will this go against the Knights? I believe it will.
Yes. The preliminary call was personal foul, is what I saw. A great call on a boot. Naked boot. Nobody leading. And another penalty negates a first down.
So, Coach, now you're looking again at a 4th down scenario, but this time with some more yardage to contend with. Let's see here. I think they're still trying to discuss where they're going to mark the ball. If it is a personal foul, we're obviously looking at a 15-yarder here.
It looks like they're going. There's their 10. About 5 more yards. Looks like only a 10-yard variety.
Huh. Okay.
Unless it was past the line of scrimmage.
Oh,
right?
that's potential too.
So now I would expect they haven't had a run longer than 4 or 5 yards. Maybe you're looking, if you're a defensive player not biting on a run fake, maybe looking for another bootleg where you get run action and receivers crossing, tight ends crossing. That's been effective. They've completed 2 of those. But you definitely, you still have some room even if they do get a first down. So now they're moving the ball marker back farther.
Yeah, looks like it'll be a 4th. We're going to call it a 4th and 11 scenario here for the Knights.
Now, the yard marker, is that wrong, JR? Does it say 2nd? Or did they just not turn it yet?
I don't think they've turned it because it should be a 4th down.
Yeah, that's what I...
Okay, they're showing now a 1st down.
Okay. So it was after the play, after the 1st down?
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So that's a little bit different animal.
Okay.
So they go empty again.
All right, so working on a 1st down, but the ball has been pushed back, if you will. Sending a man in motion, Brown. And the catch is made. 1st down and touchdown, just like that. Reception made by Molkanoff. I'll get that name sometime tonight.
They do an effective job of, running the ball, getting the defense to play the run, and then they boot out and receiver crosses the field. So their boot action seems to be their best answer today when they need yards.
There you see the dump off. I believe it is pronounced Molchanoff. I'm going to go with Molchanoff from what I've seen.
We're not going to kick this time.
So looking at a potential 2-point attempt. Actually, they're going to get pushed back again.
Now, if you go for it for 2, do they move the ball back? Is that why? I'm not sure.
Not sure on the ruling on that one, but that could be the scenario here. So they're going to send a man in motion, and we have flags flying once again. It looks like movement here by the Knights.
Let's see if they change their mind and if they're moved back. Well, they call it offense.
It's offside.
Defense.
Wow, it's offside against the Cubs.
So now, let's see if they can get. So their best running plays have been when the quarterbacks pulled the ball and ran and jet sweep. So to the outside, they have had much more luck or efficiency than they are running the ball up the middle.
So just a few less yards to have to contend with. Let's see what the Knights come up with. The give is to Brown. Keeps the feet moving, and he's in.
Powered his way in.
Boy, just what you need there just to power your way in to grab that 2-point attempt. So just like that, it is a 16-13 contest with the Cubs still in command as we're at 4:46 remaining in the first quarter. Interesting series of downs there, Coach, and a nice mix of plays offensively.
Despite the penalties, despite some offensive penalties that were called on the offense, they really showed their maturity. A lot of times you get teams who shoot themselves in the foot and they lose confidence. They certainly did not do that.
I'm sure from a coaching standpoint, John, it does get a little frustrating when you're having to contend with those flags and maybe having to readjust some of your strategy as the night goes on.
My initial thoughts are opening night jitters that will get fixed, and number 2 is sometimes when they're on the road, the human factor takes over. That's from a coach's point of view. It doesn't always happen, but you know. So let's see if we get a squib kick.
You don't know. Yeah, it looks like we do. Yeah, it will be taken by one of the up men and is immediately brought down after a run back, maybe of about 2 to 3 yards. Morgan Hawkins was the man on the carry, and that's where the Cubs will operate with a 1st down and 10. So 4:39 here in the first quarter, 16-15 is the score actually after the point after attempt. So it's a 1-point advantage here for the Cubs of Riverside.
And we're only 3/4 of the way through the first quarter.
That's pretty amazing that we've seen this much. But again, as we mentioned, this is likely to be a high-scoring contest when you figure that both of these clubs are very, very good football teams. So 1st down and 10 situation here for the Cubs. Adams, actually it's a different quarterback. Looks like it'll be Matthew Silve. We haven't seen him at all at the quarterback position. We've seen Visco and Adams, but now a little bit of change-up offensively here for the Cubs.
I wonder if they might consider that a wildcat package where they put an athlete in and snap the ball to him and let him run, because he definitely looks like he...
That makes sense, but once again, Coach, it looks like we have another flag.
Opening night, it's opening night jitters. But when we would always tell our teams, and good coaches, they know that if the refs are calling stuff tight, the players need to adjust.
Yeah.
The refs are going to call games tough, then the players need to adjust, and you can't keep shooting yourself in the foot on both sides of the ball.
So this will push the Cubs back 10 yards. We're looking at a 1st and long scenario. Adams back as your quarterback here for the Cubs. Sending his receivers out, looking long, Has a man partially opened, and it is.
He got another flag.
Wow, looks like this could be an interference call that goes against the Knights.
Tough flag. I think maybe we can catch on replay if they'll consider that face guarding, but you much rather, we would tell our kids, you much rather have them snap the ball and live to play another day and get a penalty rather than give up a touchdown and not be aggressive.
Let's take a look to see if he was. Yeah, I believe that will definitely be a defensive interference call, so that will move the football in favor of the Cubs here.
And another thing to remember, you got the pro rules where the ball is a spot foul, the ball is moved to where the spot is. In high school, especially on a long pass, they can throw the ball 30, 40 yards downfield, and if the penalty is only 15 yards. So it's to the advantage of the defense if they have any doubt about making a pass interference play to prevent a touchdown.
So this places the football right at about the 34 of the Cubs. That's where they will have a first down scenario, first down and 5, if you will, now for the Cubs. And on the keeper, Sylvain, again looking as their Wildcat, has a little bit of daylight. Flag down on the play one more time here. Finally is brought down. Looks like making the stop is Simon Price there for the Knights.
In the area of a hold, but we'll see.
Maybe a block in the back from what I just saw there on the replay.
And he's smothered.
Yeah, one of the initial wrap-ups.
Good pursuit.
Molchanov looks like he was one of the first defenders right there, and it looks like it'll be a timeout on the field here charged over to the Cubs. So obviously, as you said, those first game jitters are probably really being a big factor here, Coach, because we're seeing a whole lot of handkerchiefs early here in this first quarter.
When you have athletes, there's athletes running all over the field, and sometimes another thing, you have 8 athletes, the line is less dense, there's nowhere to hide. I mean, you're out in the open. Stuff gets covered up sometimes when you're playing with 5 linemen, 2 guards, 2 tackles, a center, maybe a tight end that's 6, and holds get missed. They can't possibly call them every play. But here, if you're going to have 3 linemen because you want to spread them out, those are easy to see. And I'm not exactly sure who did the holding, but the blocks in the back. It's just been. They are calling it consistent for both sides. There's been plenty of penalties.
Yeah, it's definitely not been one-sided in terms of the way the refs have been throwing the flags for sure. So this is going to push the Cubs back. It'll still remain first down here for CSDR.
And you still got to believe the cultures are winning cultures, and they will get that straightened out. Just a matter of discipline, first week jitters, and they'll get settled down.
So ball is now marked at the 24-yard line of the Cubs. Adams back as your quarterback. They've been doing kind of a little bit of switch back and forth here with Sylvain. Actually, the snap goes back to Sylvain.
So Sylvain's listed as an athlete, and he's run the ball. They haven't put the ball up in the air beside the penalty and the extra point. And it's just a quarterback lead. There's that 3 linemen and the 2 backs.
2nd and 10 now for Adams. Looking down long. Has a man open. Catch is made. Great stutter step. Still on his feet and into the end zone. That is a great catch and touchdown here by Darius Zaremka.
Impressive. And you have the fullback, their best run player, their best offensive threat, playing corner. It looks like they had a mix-up there in the coverage.
Take a look at this again here, Coach. Nice toss there. Had to come back and wait for it with Zaremka, but I love the move he makes right about there.
Great one. Uncovered. They saw him uncovered. They snapped the ball, and he got it to him. There was a defensive mix-up. Good job getting him the ball uncovered, and we've got another touchdown.
So the Cubs, as usual, with a 2-point attempt. Sylvain on the carry, and he's in. So just like that, another touchdown, another 2-point after successful here for the Cubs of Riverside.
So now you have Sylvain throwing the ball.
So clock
24-15. We still have 3 minutes and 32 seconds left in the first quarter, and we have 39 points scored.
That is just amazing. But again, to no one's surprise, if you watch 8-man football, you're likely to get a high-scoring contest, and so far that's what we're getting. So just like that, the Cubs of Riverside leading this contest.
Do see some of the younger players out on the field for the kickoff return team. We've seen a lot of squibs, keeping the ball down on the ground, not kicking it deep.
So let's see what happens if they decide to put it on the turf on the kick.
And they don't even have a returner very deep beyond the. Can't see where he's at, but he's not too deep.
Looks like Stieglitz is pretty much playing as an up man almost, but he's the lone back there for the Knights. So just like that, Zarempia will once again kick things off here for the Cubs.
We'll see if Foothill.
Another squib.
Foothill can make complete another drive and not shoot themselves in the foot.
So it'll be pretty decent field position here for the Knights. Just about midfield here. As we're under 3.5 to play here in the first quarter. Great to have you along with us here on Riverside TV. J.R. Ibarra and with the coach John Rice bringing you all the action here in week number 1 of CIF action. Although we had plenty of teams play last week and for week 0. I've never figured out that week 0 type thing, Coach.
A lot of times it helps for stadiums. It helps for shared stadiums. Stretches the season a little bit longer. Gazal last week let us know how that started in college. It was a pretty fascinating story.
So right at midfield at the 40, and we have flags flying, just like we've seen. Pass will be nullified, even if it is complete. So we'll see what the call is here by our referees. We've had multiple flags so far thrown here in this first quarter of play. Looks like this will go against the Knights.
Now, there are a lot of coaches who don't like week 0. They want to play straight through. If you can strategically place if you can go 0 through 4 or 5 and then have a week off to heal before you go into league, sometimes I always found that advantageous to us. You could gather yourselves, strategize, get your players healthy, but a lot of teams don't do that. They go week 0 and then they have a hole in their schedule early.
So it looks like we had offsetting penalties, Coach, so that'll bring it back again for a 1st down and 10 situation here right at the 40-yard line here for the Knights. So essentially it's kind of like back to where they were before, sending a man in motion. Looks like the give and the wrap-up and the loss. Your ball carrier was Jackson Bailey, and Caden Adams wraps him up for a loss of about 5, well, we'll call it 4 yards there on the loss.
About third or fourth time they run that jet sweep. The play off of that, the complement, if they feel they're being too aggressive on defense, is for the quarterback to pull the ball. And they're back into that empty formation once again.
Second, and we'll call it 2nd and 14. Here's the situation now. Clock running underneath. Going to send Brown in motion. He slips on the turf when he starts making the turn upfield, and unfortunately that'll be another loss here for the Knights.
So great position for the Cubs on defense. They're behind the sticks. Foothill's behind the sticks. They've been effective on play action to a certain extent. They need some yards here.
Yeah, you got to dial up something here on a 3rd and 20 situation here for the Knights. They're going to send Brown in motion. Roll out here. Option play. It is in the turf and picked up. It is picked up by Zarumka, and he'll go all the way and score.
Impressive defense. You know, running option. It is something you really can't dabble in. It's a high-risk offense. This is a new offense, a new wrinkle that the head coach talked about, and we have just speed option. Running back not looking for the ball. It's on the ground. Scoop and score.
Yeah, looks like Bailey just was looking ahead downfield, was not completely sure when that ball was going to come into his possession, and just like that, it's a takeaway here by the Cubs, and they take advantage of it and take it all the way in for the score.
And they did talk about not having a lot of practice time, and it does chew up a lot of time to become efficient in the option, especially as something based on timing and repetition.
So once again, a 2-point after attempt here by the Cubs. Kind of typical scenario there for CSDR. Right up the gut and in, and for the score this time it is Lucas Go, 6 foot tall, 190 pounds. He'll take it in and get the 2-point attempt.
So a game of errors and taking advantage of errors. Wow. Opportunistic Cubs. taking advantage of an interception return, a fumble return, a kickoff return, different looks on offense, quarterback running the ball, Wildcat running the ball. Let's see what they come up with the next time they get the ball. So now you're down 32-15. We still have 2 minutes left. We have 47 points scored in the first quarter.
That's pretty amazing. So, Coach, when you look at being kind of behind in this scenario, it's still very early in the game. What is it that you want to tell the kids at this point to try to, keep the morale up to ensure that, hey, let's just take it easy. Let's play a little catch up here.
Because they're both winning cultures, and I don't think they're going to lose their poise. Coach was very confident on the sideline about telling his team they're playing for Southern California Championship. The culture is strong. They were in a tough ball game last year. They're not going to lose their poise. I would say we got to stick to what we do. We got to eliminate errors. That would be my number one concern. Eliminate our errors on offense and stop shooting ourselves in the foot.
Zaremka will once again kick off here for the Cubs. We've seen pretty much a lot of pooch kicks as we see another one. Goes the distance, and Brown is your carrier. He'll take it right at about the 36 is where they're going to stop him at.
Almost at midfield.
Looks like a little bit of extracurricular activity going on, but I don't see any flags on this one.
So let's see if they can put together a drive, eliminate some errors, and get in some rhythm.
So first down and 10, we're still in the first quarter of play, and yes, that score is correct, 32-15. That's usually a final score for a lot of ball clubs around the Riverside region here.
They're missing somebody on defense, having a little bit of mix-up on defense.
So now on a first down and 10. Foothill sending a man in motion. Keeper here by Hernandez. Going to get a gain of maybe 3 if they spot it right where he falls.
Saw Riverside load the box that time, put linebackers up in the box, and outnumber the blockers. 6 men up there in the box with 2 corners.
We will call it a 2nd and 7 scenario here. Hernandez sending a man in motion. Brown is your ball carrier. Still looking for some daylight. We'll pick up maybe 1 on the carry.
Interesting use of unbalanced formation toward Foothill sideline, and the first time we saw counter run back to the wide side, away from the unbalanced, and they defended it very well.
3rd down and 6 is your scenario here for the Knights as we fire up the lights here at CSDR. And a pitch and fumble, and very to the advantage here of the Knights. It is Hernandez who falls on the football. So another little miscue here, Coach, really shoots them in the foot here.
I would venture to say that it's very uncharacteristic for this program to continue to make mental mistakes, and that's a mental mistake, not keeping your eyes on the ball. The ball was right in his gut.
Looks like it will be a punting situation, though. Ryder Dennett, I see back, taking the snap, making the punt. There's nobody back for the Cubs, so they're just going to let it roll. It might roll into the end zone here for a touchback.
Okay. Well, that series didn't go well, and as we come near the end of the first quarter, Riverside has a chance to extend their 17-point lead as we're going to let the clock run here, it looks like, to end the first quarter.
Actually,
they're going to put it back up. They just put the clock back up,
I think
right?
the official clock is stopped at 33 seconds.
There we go.
So
there
it looks like the Cubs will have a little bit of time, but this offense has been so potent. 30 seconds is well enough for them to make something happen here, Coach.
And so they change quarterback. I mean, they have
Adams is
back in.
Adams is back in, but
He's
you
back
have
in.
you have Sylvain and Bisco in the backfield. That really can throw you off, Coach, because you figure those 3 guys in the backfield, it can be snapped to either one of those 3.
Yep.
And who knows what might happen from that standpoint.
And they've been running the ball at the quarterback position, with using the other 2 as lead blockers, getting 5 blockers at the point of attack, and it's been effective both inside and outside.
Now first down and 10, 33 seconds to play in the first quarter. Going to send Visco. Actually, he plants himself. Has a setback. Back to pass is Adams. Has a man open almost, and it is not picked off. Reception is made. Still on his feet. Zaremka finally brought down right at about the 12-yard line.
Wow. Wow. Coach wants to hurry up and get the ball snapped and get the team down. Everybody ran deep. They just threw the ball up. It was tipped. It looked like it was going to be an interception.
That's what I thought. I thought it was almost going to get picked off right there, right through the hands of the defender, that being Luke Bennett. But Zaremka comes up with a rock, stays on his feet, will take it inside of the 15-yard line. And that's a first down scenario, as we said. Clock is rolling with 14 remaining. Let's see if they can get it into the end zone before the clock expires here.
Nice catch and run.
Clock down to 3 on the board here, and they may not get this off before the quarter comes to an end, and that will end the first quarter of play. Now, whistles are...
So we showed they were trying to, shift that running back again to go 3 wide, and it seems like what we've seen in the first quarter is the skill positions for Riverside. The Cubs are just outshining Foothill at the skill positions. So far, they're taking advantage. Their philosophy seems to be to spread out the defense, have 3 linemen. When they do run the ball, lead with the back, so you have 5 blockers, and then they spread out and make you cover the receivers. And then on the other side of the ball, they pack everybody in the formation. They gap you up, and they make you, you have 2 running backs back there. And they're not afraid to tell you where they're going, trying to run the ball. And so far, the Cubs are able to stop them. So a contrast in styles, and the best player and on the Foothills team is not able to get many yards. They seem to be keen on him.
Yeah, Cameron Brown, your running back here for the Knights, really has not had the type of night that I think he's probably used to on most occasions. And just like that, as you said, Coach, they've keyed on him very well defensively and have held him to very little yardage tonight. In fact, I don't have the official tally, but I want to say he's probably less than 10 yards for the night so far on his carries.
It was interesting in our discussion with their head coach. We asked him, what do you think run pass? What are you going to do tonight? He says it depends. It depends on what we get, how things go. Last year we were 80% run. We did put in the option. So they're first game, sometimes you get exposed, you find your weaknesses, you work on them, you get better every week. Certainly it's a winning culture, and they're not going to panic.
So first down and 10 is your scenario here, right inside of the, I'll call it the 13-yard line. Direct snap goes to Adams, makes the spin move, will pick up maybe 3 yards on the carry.
Adams is an impressive athlete. He's tough. He's a gamer. He can throw the ball. He's shown he can run the ball. He had a big game last year where he had about almost 400 yards of total offense. I think it was well over 300. He threw for over 200. He ran for 140 something. So they definitely knew about him, but they haven't been able to stop him.
Yeah, Adams kind of carrying on the family tradition. His older brother was the starting quarterback here from 21 and 22. He himself, Trevin Adams, was quite the player as well, going both ways. And as a quarterback, he was just so difficult to stop. Back to pass. A little dump off is made to Visco. Out in the clear and into the end zone for the score.
Just a nice wide receiver screen. Slip screen. He just came back underneath. The offensive lineman hit and let the lineman come upfield. He slipped underneath from a slot position and into the end zone. Easy completion up on his toes. Nice little toss. Lineman out front blocking for the score.
Wow, just they kind of make it look pretty easy there, Coach.
Good athletes. The same athletes who did very well in their game last year. So no surprises offensively for the Cubs.
So the Cubs, once again, in typical fashion, going for 2 points. And back to passes Visco. He looks to his left. Catch is made, and it looks like it will be incomplete. Intended for Isaiah Baxter Davis.
It's really great. It would be just fantastic to have your confidence in 3 different players that have been at quarterback. Is that right, JR? Had 3 players?
Yeah, exactly.
And here you go again. He just caught a touchdown. He goes to play quarterback. And I think he caught it, but he was a little
early here in the second quarter of play. Wind beginning to pick up just a little bit, coming from the west to the east. We're kind of out in the open ourselves here as we're giving you this call here for Riverside TV.
Beautiful night for football.
It is
little
great.
Breeze, great crowd, enthusiastic crowd on both sides. Foothill travel from El Cajon down in San Diego. There are people surrounding the field, people in the end zone, on the sideline. It's just a great atmosphere. A lot of kids here playing behind. Great atmosphere for football in Riverside.
So early here in the second quarter of play, Riverside with that lead. We'll try to obviously keep things rolling here early here in the first half of play. Zaremka has been your kicker. Looks like, yep, he'll continue, and he's been doing that squib kick scenario, and it'll be picked up right with one of the up 10. Looks like it was taken there by number 37, Jonah Notali.
You know, as a coach, to have the confidence in your defense to give them the ball at half field every single snap or close to it, you got to have a tremendous confidence in your defense.
Yeah, that's such a great point, Coach, that they have no fear of doing that kick after kick. We've not seen a complete kickoff so far at all here from the Cubs.
And I'm sure that's a lot of respect for Brown, who definitely has the numbers from last year. He just hasn't been able to get on track, and they're going to that empty formation. It's a little different. They have empty with 4 wideouts. They have a slot, 3 wideouts.
Sending Brown in motion, and we have flags.
So we had a tight end wing here at the bottom. We had a slot and a receiver. A little bit different.
Yeah, looks like motion here by the Nice. Boy, that's just continued to be somewhat of a Achilles heel here for the team in purple.
And I'm sure the head coach, he has a new offensive coordinator. There are new wrinkles, but they certainly are showing uncharacteristic penalties. So they do need to get that straightened out, and I'm sure they'll do it in culture, but they've got to get it done. It's already the second quarter, and we've got tons of penalties.
1st and 15 is your scenario. Going to send Brown in motion. Got another flag. Hernandez looking for somebody. Will take off. He'll pick up maybe 6, close to 7, but it could be called back depending on what this flag is all about.
You know, you got illegal procedures. That's a motion or a procedure penalty based on their formation because they are not. They're snapping the ball fine. Nobody's moving forward, so it must be a formation issue.
Yeah,
and that could be the experience. Maybe they're running some new formations, and the best run of the night for the quarterback, and it's negated. So it's not that they can't move the football. They just are having tremendous problems in every possible way that you can think, formation-wise, blocking in the back, in the middle of the field, holding, legal procedure. So that's probably a penalty. That's probably a procedure penalty with formation, I would guess.
Okay, so that'll knock them back another 5 yards. This time it will
repeat.
It'll plant the football right at about the 31. And it's a 1st down and 20 situation here for the Knights. They'll send a man in motion once again. Back to pass. Dump off to Brown. He's got it. Good reception. Is taken down after a pickup of nearly 7 to 8 yards on the reception. And I see a player down here on the turf for the Knights.
Get a little jet sweep fake, throwing to the lead back to Brown.
Looks like we had some helmet-to-helmet contact there. Down in the field is Jackson Bailey, and he got hit right in the face mask there by Matthew Sauvé.
Certainly we hope he's okay, and he's being attended to.
Yeah, he got a pretty good knock in the face mask.
Looked like he's moving his hands have been moving around, and they're just making sure he's responding.
Yeah, good to see that.
He's moving his arms there, which is a good sign. He's conscious.
Yeah, take a look at this again, Coach. You'll see he's in motion here. That is Brown. Or Bailey, excuse me. He gets smacked right in the mask right there.
I'll tell you, that's a helmet-to-helmet. But if you're coaching defense now, standing over a little bit, standing over the defender, I'm sure that Coach Adams probably is not going to like that when they look at that on replay. You play hard, you hit people, but then you help them back up. You don't stand over them. And if they wanted to, they probably could have called unsportsmanlike.
I was going to say, I'm wondering if you might call that a targeting call. I'm not sure.
With the issue with targeting, for sure, in college and pro, would be probably in high school too. It looked on the replay.
Yeah.
It's easier to see on replay, obviously, but
Right.
it was at the point of attack. He stuck his helmet right into him. He went flying on his back. And hopefully, we don't know if he has a concussion. That's the issue. I'm sure
Yeah.
they're giving him protocol where
Right.
they ask him things. They're asking him if he's dizzy. They're asking him,
and I think they're having a discussion now with Coach
Yeah.
Adams about targeting. I see one of the
there's a discussion there at the bottom right of your screen where they're talking about targeting.
So
And there's no doubt it was a helmet-to-helmet contact. If we have a chance to pull that up on the replay, you'll see it. Or if you want to rewind, here we go right here. Great job by the truck.
Look.
You'll see number 8, helmet-to-helmet. It's just, that's really hard to defend that kind. You can play football, but to attack somebody with your helmet, that's what they're trying to get out of the game. If he stays in the game, he's fortunate. If we're hoping that Foothills player gets up and then he's going to be okay. And unfortunately, with a hit like that, you're susceptible to concussion, and it looks like they're taking him off. You got to take his health is paramount above everything else.
So with that call,
and they called it.
They
moved the ball
called
up.
it. So it looks like it will be a targeting call.
Do you see the CSDR player removed, number 1? Is he on the field?
I have not seen him, so they may have. I see him down on the sideline, Sylvain, but here goes the play now offensively here for the Knights. Brown, no, that is not Brown. This time it is David Stewart as your ball carrier. Will pick up about 4 yards on the carry. But Matthew Sylvain,
Is he in the game right now, or is he
he
out?
was along the sidelines. I'm taking a look
so
right now. I'm not sure
I'd
if
be
he's still in the
interested to
game
know.
to see if they may have exercised that. Your ball carrier again is number 12. David Stewart gets wrapped up and brought down after a pickup, maybe close to 2 on the carry. Nope, looks like Sylvain is in.
So they didn't remove him from the game, which
Okay.
was, to be honest, any way you look at that, a break.
Yeah.
And very unfortunate because Foothill lost that player. He's out of the game. We don't know if he's coming back.
Hernandez back to pass, looks to the end zone, has a man open, and Brown makes the catch for the touchdown.
Impressive throw. A lot of poise. Great throw and catch. Impressive to see a big man head down the field with great hands, outstretched hands, pull the ball in, look it in for a score.
Take the look at that as Brown comes as kind of a setback there. He is beat his man on the coverage.
Nice job of the quarterback stepping up and avoiding the rush, stepped up into the pocket. Just impressive play on offense.
Now it makes it a 38-21, so essentially Foothills working to get themselves back into this ball game. Clock stopped at 9:07 here in the second quarter of play. Looks like the Knights are going to do a 2-point attempt here.
So again, that unbalanced formation with a tight end over here at the bottom of your screen.
On the rollout, Hernandez puts it in the end zone, nobody there, and it will fall flat, and that will not go. So just like that, it will remain 38-21 here, still in favor of CSDR.
Coach Adams is screaming for he's screaming for a penalty. He wants a grounding call. There's nobody. He's saying there's nobody near that receiver, and actually it was a smart play by the quarterback.
There is a discussion, though. There may have been a penalty against the Cubs because it looks like the offense is still on the field here for Foothill. Yeah, it's going against the Cubs. It looks like it may have been offsetting penalties.
We're going to take
I guess it's
a
an offsetting
timeout
penalty. Yeah, I think it's an
here.
offsetting penalty situation here.
Coach was hot. He immediately ran out on the field and was really demonstrative about that. I'd be anxious to see. I thought it was a very obvious protest to the ball being thrown away, which was a smart play by their quarterback.
Right.
But I'm not sure what they called. We didn't get a signal.
Yeah, one thing that's quite interesting, Coach Adams himself is also deaf, so he needs an interpreter to go out to the field to talk to the referees.
And we got to meet them both before the game,
Yes.
it was a great experience. And look at Coach running out. I mean,
Yeah.
I love that. Let me get a hold of you guys. Come on. and something you just don't think about. You got to get their attention. You got to turn them around. I'm sure that's taken care of in practice, going over things, communicating to each other.
Okay, so it looks like Foothills will get another attempt on the point after here, as the ball has moved closer to the goal. Once again, it'll be Stewart and Brown in the backfield. Hernandez under center.
Down 17.
On the rollout. Dumps it off and got another flag from what I've seen.
Wow. So 3-possession game without the extra point.
Take another look here. Let's see what might have happened to generate another flag here. Might have been a pass interference call.
So you got the tight end just running a 5-yard out. Very simple route. Maybe an interference call?
Yeah, that was kind of strange, Coach, because it's sure like they were there simultaneously at the football.
And if so, did he catch the ball? And if not, how far do they move it? Half the distance and get the... I mean, you're at the 1-foot line now.
Yeah, Jacob Hawkins was your intended receiver. So once again, a flag puts it half the distance. Now the Knights conferring there with Hernandez and Brown and Price, or I should say Stewart.
Haven't seen a snap count variation yet.
Dump off to Stewart, and he's going to get cut down behind the line of scrimmage. Man, Gio Vesco came rumbling in to make the stop.
Two-way player, excellent athlete, aggressive run force. It keeps Foothill down 17 points.
Now it looks like we got a Cub that's down on the field. Can't see a number from this view from the sidelines, but we'll take a timeout essentially on the field. Actually looks like they'll help. Could be cramping up scenario here for one of the Cubs.
Yes, looks like he's got the calf up. And, also in week 1, sometimes the kids' bodies aren't acclimated yet. It's not too hot now, but you get into season. You gotta have proper nutrition, get your minerals in your body, potassium. You got to be properly hydrated. And it looks like he's got a calf, and hopefully he can get that straightened out.
In fact, that looks like Matthew Sylvain, who we saw earlier in the game for some key plays offensively and defensively. So they're working on that right calf muscle right now.
So you got a 3-possession game now, which from what we've seen with 9 minutes left in the half certainly could happen quickly.
Yeah, anything can break open in this game, that's for sure.
And and it's if you're Foothill and you're sitting on the sidelines over there as a fan, a parent, or a player, or one of their staff, you got to be much encouraged that you were able to move the ball and get something going, especially through the air.
So it looks like Sylvain gets help to his feet. He'll walk off under his own power. In fact, he's got a smile on his face.
And when you're playing two ways and you got to keep hydrated, you got to be hydrated. It's kind of too late when the game starts. You've got to keep hydrated all week long. You got to be in great condition. Cramps are a sign usually of a team not being in great shape if you have too many of them. But that's the first time we've seen that all night.
So now with a score of 38-21, Foothills, they also do the squib. One of the up men will take it here on the run back and pushed out of bounds, that being Isaiah Baxter Davis here for the Cubs of Riverside.
As they take over on the 35, I would say that strategy is definitely advantageous for the Cubs because their athletes seem to be exploiting Foothills defense more effectively than Foothills offensive players are exploiting their defense. So you only have 45 yards to go.
So ball spotted at the 35 with a 1st and 10. Interesting that you never see a huddle with the Cubs. Obviously, they're able to communicate via American Sign Language with the coaching sidelines here.
Which is great. And I did see that similar strategy with Foothill on offense as well.
On the snap. And their ball carrier this time is Lucas Go.
So It looks like we got a wildcat situation. I don't know if he's going to throw the ball, but he's playing defense too. He's playing two ways, and it definitely helps the Cubs to have different people carrying the ball over the course of a ball game. When you've scored 38 points with 9 minutes left, so you're playing 4 quarters and a lot of offensive plays.
8-yard pickup on the carry. Once again, it looks like Go is in the backfield. It'll be a direct snap right to him. He'll pick up the first down and more. Got daylight to the 10-5. Right at the 1 yard line, he is stopped.
So when we see that replay, what's noticeable to me is that the Foothills defense is tired. There were some players that weren't at top speed. They control the line of scrimmage. Some of the players get pushed around a little bit. And when he gets past the line of scrimmage, they're just getting driven 10 yards off the ball.
Now I see everybody trotting back, and I see a flag on the field, so you can nullify that really effective play, Coach.
The line of the Cubs just dominated that play. Drove the right side of the Foothill defense back 10 to 15 yards. Just had the guys on skates, as we say. So
this will knock the Cubs back here. Ball spotted right at the...
And look at that stout line, JR. I mean, those are good-sized kids.
Those are pretty sizable kids for sure.
And if you look at the weight difference here, you have like a 150-pound defensive end here, and they're light in the rear end.
Looks like Adams back as your quarterback. He's looking to pass. Gets chased out of the pocket. Has some daylight.
You got a clip if they saw it.
Yeah, they did, because there's a flag on the field. Wow.
I think as we see this game develop, the athleticism and strength of CDSR or CSDR is right now it's superior. It looks like they're stronger. It looks like they're faster. It looks like if you look at the body size, the weight differential right now, it looks like the Cubs are taking full advantage of their weight difference and athleticism.
So the penalty does go against the Cubs, so that will nullify that play. And that'll move the ball back. Let's see where the placement is, just right at about the 29-yard line of the Cubs.
I think what'll be really interesting, JR, is to see how long they can keep with this pace with the big linemen.
Right.
How long those guys can play at that level, because they are dominating right now. Every play, the pass protection. I mean, the kids are, the differential there in weight is huge on the offense and defensive lines.
So second down, we'll call it 15 now here for the Cubs. Adams back to pass, looking long, has one man open, knocked out of his hands, intended for Isaiah Baxter Davis.
Great play on defense. But again, he has all day. They can't get near him. Just like your practice, takes a snap, finds his receiver, steps up in the pocket, lets it go, nice and easy throw, right down the middle of the field deep, a little bit underthrown.
Credit Caleb Stieglitz for making the defense on that one. So now brings up a 3rd and long, 3rd and 15. This seems to be no problem, though, for the Cubs to get themselves out of the hole. We have whistles and flags already, and it looks like an offsides will go against the Knights.
That's a mental error, and that's something you don't like to see. Lining up offside is a mental error, and that could be fatigue. Could be fatigue. They're on defense for a lot of plays. And we did ask Coach how much he intended to substitute. And he was very honest and direct, and I love that he said it depends on the score.
Right.
It was a great answer. Great answer. And he said if they were ahead, of course, and that they're not. So, the size of their defense is a little bit light in front.
We'll call it 3rd and 11. Adams back to pass. Has some time. Looking downfield, looking long. Catch is made. Will it be complete? No, it'll be just out of bounds. Intended there for Darius Zaremka.
Great effort.
That was an excellent catch. Unfortunately, he was just outside in making the grab.
And we have a penalty. Looks like they're talking about it. Picks up his flag, and we'll see what that's about.
Look at this great athleticism here.
Wow. Great effort on defense, and that's Brown playing cornerback.
Wow.
You got your fullback playing on a great athlete.
You would never figure a big kid like that as a secondary.
And again, really, we're going to see the need for these teams to be in shape at this level of football and the culture of both. A lot of snaps.
So it brings up a fourth down situation. Does not look like the Cubs are going to punt this one at all. In fact, it's very rare that you see them punt, Coach.
No, and you're up 3 scores.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 3-possession game.
Right.
And it shows they're confident. Again, you could throw a deep ball up, and if they intercept it, it's just like a punt. So another shift.
Fourth down, and we'll call it 4th and 11 here for the Cubs. Adams back to pass. Steps out of the pocket, gets wrapped up, and is brought down for the loss, but we have a flag on the play.
Wow, I mean, that was probably the first time they've kept him in the pocket. He wants a face mask, it looks like.
Let's see if he's going to get it. Ryder Dennett.
You know, great. I mean, on defense, that was a great job. They kept the first time all night, they kept him in the pocket, and they got to him. And then they've got another penalty.
It does look like the call is going to go against the Knights.
We'll see.
Will that be a masking call? If it is, that'll give
if
them
it's
a
a
first
10
down.
or a 15-yarder.
Yeah,
it looks
that'll
like
be
a
first down.
15-yarder.
Yeah. Yep, it is a masking call that goes against the Knights. So Ryder Dennett was the man who made the tackle for the loss, but unfortunately he must have grabbed the face mask along the way during the procedure.
And I believe they have an option to go 10 or 15, and they walked off 15 on that one.
Wow, so it'll be a first down situation here for the Cubs. They really got themselves in a nice spot now in Knights territories. The snap to Sylvain. Sylvain gets wrapped up. Looks like he'll lose a couple on the carry.
Nice to see 5 defenders around the ball. Good pursuit.
Ryder Dennett, one of those defenders there in on the play for the Knights. So it looks like it will be a loss. Just about 1.5 yards on that one, maybe. Second down and 11. Here's your call here for the Cubs.
Now, if you notice, the pace is slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, just
it's
a bit.
Slowing down a little bit, which is natural.
Yeah, I would imagine people are on both sides of the ball are getting a little tired at this point.
And you can see the hands on the hips in between plays.
Direct snap to Sylvain. Rolls out to his right. Flag down on the play. Let's see who this
see
goes
if we
against.
have a horse collar, maybe. I mean, I don't know down here, but up top it looked like it was a questionable tackle.
I think the flag might have been thrown before that tackle, though. Let's see what happens here, Coach.
I didn't see that, but I saw maybe he grabbed him around the shoulder, a horse collar, not sure. Yeah, that could have been a horse collar, but I'm not sure where the flag was.
Let's see. I believe it might be going against the Cubs here.
Did they just miss the horse collar? Because that was pretty obvious, but again.
It'll be a holding call. Wow. Oh, you're right, Coach. It is a horse collar, so it'll be offsetting.
Okay.
So you're absolutely right on the ball,
They got a break on that, I think. They got a break on that.
See,
and
good eyesight, Coach.
Well, you watch a lot of video and you're coaching, you're trying to get kids to make tackles, and they keep making it harder for the defense to tackle. And, you've got to work on form and not make mistakes. Used to be able to clothesline people back in the day and hit with your helmet, and, safety is paramount now.
Clock is rolling. Under 5, right about 5.5 to play here from the campus of the California School for the Deaf in Riverside. The keeper on the play and wrapped up after a gain of maybe 3. Your ball carrier, that being Lucas Go.
Linemen are walking back just a little bit slower. They're taking a little bit more time, which is natural for them. Get the call in quickly. Again, with the no huddle, on defense, they've been on defense a lot of plays tonight as well.
Looks like a pretty steady breeze.
So they haven't covered the receiver at the top. They missed it.
Adams dumps it off to Visco. Visco makes the spin. I think he might have enough for the first down.
They got fortunate because that's the second time that Foothill has not covered a wide receiver, and they had a mix-up. The first time they caught him for a touchdown, at the top of the screen there, you see them not covered, and they missed it.
Love the blocking over here by the Cubs there, Coach.
Yep, guys getting downfield.
Yeah. First down and 10 for your Cubs. Dump off to Visco. He'll drop the football. I don't think
they called that a lateral. It looks
really? I look like a forward pass to me, Coach.
I couldn't tell. I just didn't hear a whistle.
At least from my vantage point, but we'll see the camera angle on this. But
wow.
It'll be possession of the Knights here.
Yeah, so I just didn't see him blow the whistle. And
let's take a second look, Coach. Let's see.
Wow. A little bit late.
I am not sure on that one.
You know,
but the call is going in favor of the Knights.
And you, in that situation, you always teach your players or backs that are catching hitches and running back swings to always go for the ball and never let it go in case.
Molchanov comes up with a football here for the Knights, so it looks like will it be a turnover?
Yeah.
Or
That's a mental mistake by the Cubs. You know, when the ball's thrown and you have any doubt at all, you cover that ball.
Clock is stopped right at 4:31. Well,
They're going to keep the ball,
I
it
think
looks
they're
like.
going to keep it. I think they're going to reverse the call. Yep, that's what it looks like, Coach.
Okay.
I think that's a good call.
There we go.
'cause
I do too.
From this standpoint, I thought it was a forward pass. I really did.
They got a break.
Adams,
So they faked it.
on the keeper. Stays on his feet. Gets wrapped up. Finally brought down of a pickup there of about 4 yards on the carry.
I think they set that up because the inside receiver, he pump faked to the little hitch, and the inside receiver went downfield, and he decided to pull the ball. Didn't get it to him. So here we go. They move the chains again. So if you take a look at the inside receiver here, they fake a bunch formation. First time we've seen that. He fakes it and pulls the ball. So they were trying to get the ball out there. The two other receivers were blocking. First time we've seen a trips formation and a bunch formation tonight.
So it brings up a third down scenario here. Looks like we got a timeout on the field here for the Cubs.
I mean, if you just look at body types there, those are well built. Those kids have been in the weight room. They're big. They're strong.
Right.
They're fast. I mean, they're agile. They follow, their technique is good. They finish blocks. They have composure. Their pass blocking has been good. They haven't been sacked. They finish plays. They run downfield. I'm impressed.
Well, as we've been talking about a little bit, Coach, the culture that's been developed here has just been really impressive in kind of a short amount of time. Even though Coach Adams has been a head coach here for what I believe it's 9-10 years now, nonetheless, within the last 4 years, the level that has been raised, the bar that has been raised here has been pretty significant.
And it's impressive to see that, and the humility, and the kids play hard.
Yeah.
You don't see any showboating, and
No,
they
not at
play
all.
hard. So now you got that formation flipped. You got an empty bunch formation, and then there you have it, just a bubble screen, and nobody blocked the point man.
Visco on the catch, and credit Simon Price on the tackle. Looks like there'll be no gain, actually maybe a loss of about a half yard, so it brings up a 4th down and 7 scenario here for the Cubs.
And good defensive play. And conversely on the other side, that's a great program too. 4 championships, culture strong. You don't see any panic. You don't see anybody getting frustrated. You don't see anybody angry, blaming. You don't see finger pointing on either side of the ball.
Right. So we'll call it maybe a 4th and 7 scenario here for the Cubs. Adams stepping back, looking to the end zone, tosses it out. Catch is made. Will they give it to him?
Wow.
Is he in?
Wow.
Yes, he is.
Wow.
Beautifully done there by Darius Zanonka.
Great job putting trips to one side, putting single receiver to the top of the field. They had 2 rushers. They couldn't get to him. Nice. I mean, that's a mismatch. Again, they had a mix-up in coverage. I mean, they finally got it set, and that's a mismatch. Athletically, that's a mismatch.
Darius is 6'5", Coach.
Excellent throw.
He is definitely the one to throw to. Look at that reach.
Great ball placement.
Beautifully done. Wow.
Great ball placement. Just impressive.
2-point attempt once again. Go on the carry. Looks like he'll be shy. Will he give it to him? I think he's shy by about a yard. Do they give him the credit?
Not sure.
I don't believe so. Nonetheless, makes it now a 44-21 lead with the clock stopped at 2:48 here in the second quarter.
Now, this is the first time you're paying attention to little things. That's the first time I've seen Foothill walk off the field. First time. Maybe they're getting a little bit discouraged. They are champions. They're probably not used to being behind a lot, and I definitely would not count them out. That is a good culture. I'm sure they're going to regroup. They've showed a lot of poise. It's game number 1. They've got a great staff. They'll go in at halftime, and they'll regroup, and we'll see what adjustments they make. to come out in the second half. And then that was really exciting about coaching, is what you do at halftime and what kind of adjustments can you use to put your players in a position to be successful. And certainly Coach Adams and their staff here, the Cubs, have put their players on offense to be in positions to be successful.
When you're down by this type of deficit, Coach, what kind of things do you want to say to the kids in the locker room?
They have to get one score at a time and not make mistakes, so they can get one drive without any mistakes and grind one at a time and stop trying to make big plays. Go back to what their identity is, which is running the ball 80% of the time and running play action.
So once again, we'll probably see a squib kick, and we do, taken by one of the outmen right at the midfield. So just like that, it'll be 1st down and 10. That being recovered by Natoli.
You know, it's important that fans and people watching understand that these are 2 championship CIF champions returning with a lot of players. These are very good programs. So give all the credit in the world to both of these teams. You're only playing one half. Again, in the second half, you'll see what adjustments they make, and conditioning will play a factor. Now, they are signaling things in. That's the slowest I've seen them go as well. But when they get going, they get to the ball pretty quickly.
So back under center is Hernandez. 1st down and 10, right at midfield. Give goes right up the gut. Looks like Brown finally gets a gainer of close to 4 on the carry.
And that's what they want to do, Jared. They want to run the ball, and I love that call. Establish, don't panic. Establish something, get back to running the football. Again, Coach said they were an 80% run team last year. That's what they do best. Signal the play in, get up on the ball, no huddle. I mean, they make you gap up. They make you defend a lot of gaps. No wide receivers. Play action.
Oh, slip on the turf. How unfortunate. Ouch, and it looks like it might have actually injured
I hope he's
Hernandez.
okay. I hope he's okay and he didn't hyperextend anything.
He really fell kind of in a very awkward angle. Look at this at again, Coach.
Okay.
There you see Hernandez just simply slipping on the turf right there. He plants.
Oh, his right knee, maybe. Tough. That's
Ouch.
tough.
Yeah.
And then he's in a hurdle, gets knocked over. You know, again, play action, the better you run the football, the more opportunity you have to draw the defense up and throw something over the top. And we've seen that with Brown, where he's an excellent receiver apparently.
So Hernandez on the turf. Looks like they're looking at his left knee.
And that's tough because he's a 4-year starter. Coach spoke very highly of him.
He spoke very highly of him before the football game.
Now, what you have is the staff is taking the opportunity to go ahead and talk to them and say, look, we want to score. You know, it's two minutes left in the half. They're over there talking to the team, trying to come up with something. See, they have to know whether they got to he has to go out for one play. They've got to get another quarterback in. I don't know. Yeah, he's coming off. So I wonder what they have as a backup, or if they're going to snap the ball directly.
Looks like David Stewart, number 12, will be in the backfield now. As you said, Coach, very likely a direct snap. Stewart has been a running back here for the Knights.
Contrast in styles of being under center all night. Foothill's under center all night. Well, the Cubs are not.
Actually, we had somebody under center, back to pass, throwing it up, and the pick is made by Fisco. Gio Fisco comes up with the interception.
Interesting that they would put another player in his first play and throw the ball without warming up.
Yeah,
just interesting.
Josh Hawkins was the quarterback underneath center, and just like that, he puts it up in the air. Unfortunately, he puts it into the hands of the Cubs, but it looks like we have a penalty on the field.
And it looks like a late hit on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, it was third and a little bit past the sticks, but it looked like a late hit on the quarterback, and it looks like that's what they're going to run off. Let's see if that's what the call is.
Yeah, it looks like a late hit, or it looks like
intentional, roughing the passer.
The quarterback, roughing the passer. Yeah.
Yep. So they get another break here, and then you got a minute 54 left, and you're still in there.
They've got opportunity to make something happen here. As you said, Coach, it was pretty interesting to have your quarterback come right out of the gate, throw the football like that.
But again, a confident culture, a winning culture is not going to shy away, and I love the audacity to call something like that.
So Josh Hawkins once again underneath center. Brown, play action. Rolling out, looking down, tosses it off. Looks like it will be incomplete, intended for Molchanov.
A little bit underthrown. Again, they seem to be more effective when they're play action, on a boot action. They're faking a run. The tight ends are coming across the field. They've got 2 tight ends eligible. The front side one blocks. The second one comes from the other side. So they're just underthrown a little bit.
Yeah, just slightly underthrown.
And then you get the fullback, and he's within 2 yards, so I'm sure they're going to fix that.
2nd and 10 is your situation here for the Knights. And it still remains Hawkins. Back to pass. Gets wrapped up for a loss. Sylvain making the tackle.
Nice blitz off the edge. We haven't seen a lot of that all night. But when you're getting, play action passes, you don't have anybody to block him because the tight end went out on a route. There's no one to block him.
Yeah, he just completely untouched. Wraps him up for the loss.
The one blocker who would block him was a tight end. He was on a route. The running back took a fake, a run fake. So you have a quarterback here from his blind side just getting crushed.
Kai Davis was also in on the play defensively for the Cubs, and it looks like there's going to be a timeout here. Yep, looks like that'll stop the clock right at 54 seconds before we hit ourselves into the half. As you see, CSDR leading this one 46-21. So far have really had control of most of this game, although we've seen a heck of a lot of penalties through most of the first half here that have affected both squads. And now the Knights having to contend with the possibility of Ben Hernandez being out injured here for possibly the remainder of the game. We'll see. We don't have a report on him yet. But nonetheless, the Cubs have just really shown themselves to be such a strong, program. Once again, just kind of keeping up that reputation, Coach.
Extremely athletic. I mean, with good reason, the reputation. They execute well. They're poised. They look like they've been in the weight room. They're excited. They're unified. They don't make a lot of mistakes. They're confident. They don't get rattled. And again, the second half will be a little bit telling to see how, conditioning, if that's going to be a factor. And I bet you see these teams play later in the year, you're going to see a little bit different ball game, probably a little bit closer. But again, we're only at half.
3rd and long. We'll call it about a 3rd and 20 scenario here for the Knights. Back. Hernandez is back. He throws it long.
Live local. Help support your favorite businesses with the Shop Riverside Community Card. With over 200 Riverside businesses giving exclusive discounts and offers to community card holders, there's something for everyone. Participating organizations sell these cards for only $15 each, with $10 going straight back to the organization itself, making the Shop Riverside Community Card a fantastic way to support your favorite local group. For more information about the Shop Riverside Community Card and to find participating businesses, please visit shopriversidenow.com. And don't forget to live local. Shop Riverside.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month. Please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD. Road traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431.
And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right. We are proud of the Riverside Police Department's tradition of integrity, service, and excellence. RPD officers are disciplined, well-trained professionals who always lean forward to make our community safer and more livable. We are always looking for mature, educated men and women who want to apply their courage and judgment to serve the people of Riverside. If that's who you are, we want to talk to you.
The City of Riverside Public Works Department provides high-quality trash and recycling services for our customers. Convenient curbside trash collection services promote a clean and healthy Riverside. To help us provide you with top-quality service, we ask you to follow a few key rules. There are 3 different containers for your trash. The blue bin is for recyclables and should only be used for clean recyclable materials such as aluminum cans, cardboard, glass bottles, plastics, and styrofoam. The old brown bin, or new bin with gray lid, is for standard household trash and items not suitable for the other bins, such as animal waste, cactus, palm fronds, soil products, and other waste. The green barrel is for your grass clippings, leaves, weeds, and other plant materials, excluding palm fronds, cactus, and yucca. And please remember not to use any of the containers for heavy construction waste such as concrete. For a complete guide to sorting your trash, please visit riversideca.gov/publicworks.
California leads the nation in railroad trespass-related fatalities. In 2021, there were 243 trespass casualties in California. Trespassing is one of the most challenging safety issues plaguing California's railroad corridors. In Riverside County alone, there were 19 trespass-related casualties last year. But the positive news is those numbers have dropped over the years because of the efforts of California Operation Lifesaver and partnering agencies like RCTC and Metrolink. We can all help reduce trespass-related incidents even further if we never trespass on railroad property for any reason. That means no biking or walking near tracks. Railroad property is private property. The only safe place to cross train tracks is at a designated crossing. September is Rail Safety Month, so please do your part. And whenever you see tracks, always think train. And stay off, stay away, stay safe.
We all need to eat, but do you know where our food actually comes from? If you're like most of us, our food starts its life in a land far away, where it's picked and packed before its prime and ripens during transit rather than on the vine. From the fields to packaging facilities to ships to trucks, even airplanes, to local distribution facilities, it's a tiring journey before it ever reaches our neighborhood store. Locally grown foods, however, are harvested at the peak of ripeness and can arrive in the store or restaurant within 24 hours, retaining much more of its flavor and nutrition. So why else buy local? Buying local supports farmers and businesses. It creates jobs and raises the community's income. This Grow Riverside initiative has a long-term impact to create a higher quality of life by increasing access to nutritious food and creating local jobs and businesses that help generate sales tax revenue to support vital services such as police, fire, and our local parks. So go out and shop local, eat local, Support our community while enjoying fresher, more delicious, and nutritious food. Find out more about the exciting local food movement, where community members, leaders of the local food movement, local government, and local growers come together to discuss the exciting future of sustainable local agriculture.
I get to see little girls come in and say, like, I'm gonna build a bridge, I'm gonna play with electricity, I'm gonna build a catapult, and it's so much fun to see them light up and to see that they know that they can now do this.
Kay Yang is a local entrepreneur and engineer who has had a passion for tinkering since childhood. Memories of tinkering with her dad in the garage inspired her to start her own business focused on reimagining the way engineering is taught and making STEM engaging, particularly for young girls. Her business, Tinker the Robot, provides building kits that include everything necessary to create stimulating STEM projects. Kay recently completed a series of STEM workshops in partnership with the Riverside Public Library with the goal of sparking students' innovation and making science fun and engaging.
In the library it's great because they come in with a family, they discuss, they build, they learn, they connect, they create moments, and then they can take it home and continue those moments at home. So that's really what this is all about. Helping foster self-confidence and get kids to really understand, like, they could build this, they can solve the problems of tomorrow.
There has been a very positive response from the community to these programs.
I really think that they've enjoyed it. I've had a few families that ask where I'm going to be next, and then they'll follow me to the next library just so that they can see what the next project is going to be and keep the learning going. And the staff here at the library seems to enjoy it as well. They all been very welcoming, and so yeah, I think the public generally likes it, and I think they want to see more.
For anyone with a hunger for more STEM activities, Kay offers a variety of free options as well as complete activity kits through her website.
If you guys are interested in doing any of this at home, a lot of our materials are materials you could buy at Target or Hobby Lobby or buy on Amazon. And so check out our website. You'll have to give us your email, but then we have free PDFs that you can download and do programs like this at home. We want to make sure that science and engineering is accessible and fun.
To find out more about Kay and Tinker the Robot, visit her website at tinkertherobot.com. And to see what other fun activities there are at the Riverside Public Library, visit us at riversideca.gov/library. The City of Riverside Public Works Department provides high-quality trash and recycling services for our customers. Convenient curbside trash collection services promote a clean and healthy Riverside. To help us provide you with top-quality service, we ask you to follow a few key rules. When placing your trash containers for pickup, please observe the following. Place each container with at least 3 feet separation from each other and at least 6 feet from obstructions such as parked cars, fire hydrants, mailboxes, and trees. Your bin should be placed at the curb no later than 5:30 a.m. on your collection day with the arrow on the lid pointed toward the street to ensure your bins get emptied. If you are experiencing issues with your trash collection or perhaps need a replacement for a damaged trash bin, please contact our customer service call center by using the 311 app or website, or by dialing 951-826-5311 to reach one of our customer service representatives. And for more information about trash services, recycling, or bulky items, visit the Public Works website at riversideca.gov/publicworks.
This place, it's called CryoFix Wellness. We're based in Riverside, California. We are a sports recovery wellness center. We get half athletes or people who are just very active who are looking to recover a lot faster. And then the other half we get is just everyday people who are in chronic pain, chronic inflammation, people who work a lot of hours, who are on their feet all day, that are just looking for more natural ways to help maintain pain relief and help decrease inflammation. Some of the therapies that we offer are whole body cryotherapy, localized cryotherapy, cryofacials, Normatec compression, Theragun therapy, Graston technique, active release therapy, assisted stretching, and cupping. Our most popular therapy is whole body cryotherapy. Essentially, it's cold therapy. I would say for whole body cryotherapy, it's actually a lot easier than a regular ice bath. What it does is it cools the skin really fast, so it helps constrict the veins, which helps flush out toxins that get stuck in the muscles and in the joints, as well as helps fortify the bloodstream, which helps your body heal a lot faster than it would on its own. Riverside, I've been here my whole life, born and raised. It's been really great to just kind of help out my hometown in alternative, natural ways. Probably the best thing about owning this business is seeing someone come in pain and walking out feeling better. Just the other day, we had a high school girl. She came in, could barely walk. She did 2 treatments of the localized cryotherapy, and she came back telling me that she was able to play her game on Saturday. And just seeing that all the time makes me feel really good knowing that I'm providing a service that helps out my community.
The Riverside Libraries have new hours.
Here with J.R. Ibarra and the coach John Rice, bringing you all the action here via Riverside TV. Great to have you along with us here for this great matchup of 8-man football here in the CIF Southern section. Coach, it has been quite entertaining. A lot of stuff happening in the first half, obviously with a high-scoring contest. We've seen plenty of penalties for sure. We've seen injuries. We've seen a whole bunch of everything here just right here in the first half.
Yeah, and they're 2 very good programs, very strong cultures. Opening night jitters, a lot more than you expect. But I've been very impressed by the athleticism, the discipline, the using the plan of the offense, the players on the Cubs. On Riverside side of the ball, they do a good job getting people the ball in space. They're playing 2 ways. They're aggressive. And now you have a CIF champion from San Diego that's down 30 points.
Yeah. They will receive the kick here. And back again, it has been Caleb Stieglitz back to receive the kickoff. Nonetheless, we've seen the Cubs pretty much every kickoff just kind of squib it. As you mentioned, Coach, in the first half, that just shows how much confidence they have of themselves defensively, that they don't have to kick it away. They can just operate right at midfield, and nonetheless, they've effectively done a great job of handling the Knights.
And they've got a guy back there, a receiver back there at the 15-yard line. They'd love him to get the ball.
Squibbed again. We do have whistles, though. Could be offsides, I think, that might go against the Cubs.
They just make a decision. They're not going to kick the ball to an athlete in space. They're okay with their defense playing it from half field on every possession.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's an offsides call that will go against the Cubs. That'll set them back a few yards. I tell you what, the officials have been earning the money tonight.
Yeah, a lot of penalties.
And you know what? The calls have been right on from what I've seen.
And they've been on both sides, and you did have a targeting penalty. We're really hoping the player for Foothill Christian from El Cajon is okay. He took a shot to the head. We're hoping that his family is taking care of him and the trainers, and that he gets a treatment that he needs, because you never want to see that.
Absolutely. So the ball will be spotted now at the 25-yard line of the Cubs. So they'll redo this kick, and nonetheless, let's see if they kick it away this time, Coach.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow, it seems like, you get a guy with a run, a great athlete with a run. I think they'll do the same thing.
Yeah, they squib it once again. We'll go to one of the up man, this time taken right at about the 35-yard line with a little bit of daylight. Rumbles down, still stays on his feet, finally brought down inside of the 10-yard line. Nice return on the play by Josh Hawkins on the run back.
Yep, couldn't ask for a better start. Again, coverage collapsed a little bit. The contained man at the top of the screen kind of collapses too far. Great job getting to the outside, and they're off to a great start.
Hawkins on the run back. Nice field position here, setting things up for the Knights. So this gives them an opportunity to try to get it into the end zone early here in the second half of play. Once again, it's Brown in the backfield. He'll go in motion. Pitch is going to go back and wrapped up and brought to the turf, that being your ball carrier of Jackson Bailey. Bailey was the one who was hit earlier, Coach, and it's great to see him back in the ball game.
It is. Again, they give the ball to Brown, their most accomplished runner, playing both ways, playing corner, and fullback. They single the play in. They're going at a high pace. Going to go empty again with 2 wings.
So it's a 2nd and goal situation now here for the Knights. Sending the man in motion. Bailey on. And the dump off, it is picked off.
Wow.
Just like that. An unfortunate scenario here. And coming up with the rock is Darius Zarumka.
You know, they do, that's that jet sweep with a boot. Boot action is where they fake the run. The tight end blocks down, and then the other tight end comes from the bottom of the screen to the top. And he had a linebacker who didn't bite. He stayed right there. You see him mirroring the quarterback. They try to hit the tight end. He gets knocked down by the safety. And here we go. The Cubs are ready and poised to increase their 4-score lead.
Boy, it's like Hernandez did not even see him in the backfield there. A little bit of confusion now. It looks like Adams is just trying to get things squared away with his offense. He is your lone setback.
You got bunch again, empty bunch.
And I'm hearing whistles. Yep.
I'm not sure if they were ready yet.
Yeah.
You didn't have the clock ready. We'll see what happens. But it looks like they're ready to throw the ball. Bombs away, first play.
Yeah.
Last time they got in that formation, they ran it twice. They ran a bubble screen into the opposite side. Then they ran it to the bottom, and they also threw deep on one of the deep plays. So they're not going back to the traditional 2-back formation and running quarterback lead.
So it doesn't look like necessarily a penalty, as it was. Nobody was set in place yet. I see Morgan Hawkins now coming into the ballgame here for the Cubs of Riverside. So 1st down and 10, deep into their own territory. Adams taking the snap, looking downfield, looking long, has somebody open, and the catch is made by Visco. And I think he's in bounds, and that'll move the chains.
Impressive. A lot of time, there's only 2 rushers. They have a 3rd rusher who's what they call a key rusher. He's a linebacker. If it's pass, he rushes. So you have 3-on-3. The pass protection has been excellent all night long for the Cubs.
Wow, 1st down and 10, takes it right about the 36-yard line now. So the Cubs not afraid to strike long and heavy on the passing game. Adams back to pass once again. Steps out of the pocket, looking downfield. Nobody around. Going to tuck it in there? No, he's still on his feet. Finally gets chased out of bounds, and that is after a gain of a few here.
I tell you, people were covered. I mean, you have that much time, you figure somebody will get open, and so credit Foothill defense.
Boy, still nonetheless, look at that, Coach. He picks up about 6 to 7 yards just being chased out of the pocket.
Athletic, very athletic.
Coach, we haven't talked about it much, but, you know, this is a squad that is completely deaf. They don't have their hearing capability. Nonetheless, that seems to be completely erased in terms of athleticism.
No, and they adapt and overcome. That's what people do, and they do it very well. The communication system is very effective. They communicate with the coaching staff and each other.
So it'll be a 2nd, we'll call it a 2nd and 4 scenario here. Adams dumps off almost quickly here to Visco. Makes the spin move very close to the 1st down marker.
So that was that bubble screen they ran in the first. The 2 receivers out in front did a good job blocking. He splits the block. So they've been in that formation more and more.
Just like that, move the chains. 1st down and 10 now for the Cubs. Early here in the 2nd half of play, you see the clock rolling at 9:17. Riverside with that 54-21 score, and still trying to put some more up on the scoreboard here.
So they changed the formation a little bit, and now they're 2-by-2 and empty.
Visco is now your quarterback. Let's see if he's going to take a direct snap or if he'll come back and pass. No, he's going to pass the football. Actually, he steps up out of the pocket. Looks like that was pretty intentional, Coach.
Yes.
We'll pick up a 1st down.
Impressive.
Still on his feet and goes in for the score.
Good call. Good call, JR.
Oh, my word.
Good call. Just open up the running lane, spread out the defense, quarterback draw. Watch the offensive line if we get a shot of them. Their kids blocking downfield right there.
Yeah.
Great athleticism. He makes 2 guys miss, 3 guys miss. They're blocking downfield, and then he outruns the last 2 defenders.
That is
just
amazing.
Athletic play.
Coach,
job.
Also you consider the tools that are in the toolbox here for Riverside, where you have Adams, you have Sylvain, you have Visco once again on that look on the touchdown here.
Athleticism, open field. There's 3, 4, 5 players he runs by, and that's impressive. Good athleticism.
Well,
now we have another flag.
Markers here, and it looks like an offside penalty to go against the Knights. So
So
this'll move
that's
the
at
ball.
least the second time we've seen that. That is a mental mistake. Really, as a defensive coach, you hate to see that. And as a head
Right.
coach, it's an unforced error. People are not paying attention to where the ball is. I haven't seen too much of a varied snap count to cause that to happen. Empty again.
So now it will move the ball that much more closer for the 2-point attempt. Bisco looking back, dumps it off into the end zone. It'll be picked off, so it'll be no good here for the Cubs.
Just double out routes, just try to get inside the flag and throw on time. So we've increased our lead.
Now it'll make it a 60-21 ball game in favor of the Cubs, well in command of this contest now. And it's not like there's a whole lot on the roster to make substitutions here, Coach, because it's not a very big squad.
No, you're just, and I like that they're pedal to the metal. They're all gas. They're going to play football. They're going to get a lot of reps. They're going to try to get better. And you're remembering this is just week 1.
Yeah, that's what's astounding. Folks, if you've never had the opportunity to come on down and support California School for the Deaf from Riverside. They have really proven themselves to be the champions that they are, having won 2 consecutive CIF titles, almost had a third one back in 21. So this is a culture, as we've talked about, that has really risen and has brought the level of play in 8-man football to a new level here in the city of Riverside.
I'm just really impressed of the atmosphere. A lot of people having a great time. It's a full crowd. Great football, athletic, high energy, pedal to the metal. First time they've huddled all night.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Haven't seen that.
You're absolutely right. We've not seen them huddle at all.
And even though it's special teams, we haven't seen them huddle. They already had that out. So let's see. They do have one person not quite as deep, but they've been using the squib kick all night.
Yeah, Stieglitz has been the lone man to receive through most of the night. Let's see if they change things up with the Cubs here. They do change it, but it's still a squib.
They're going to call offside. Nice creative play there.
Visco made the kick. It was kind of a fake kick, if you will, but
now,
nonetheless.
Speaking from an opponent point of view, that was a definite attempt at an onside kick. It's a fake, and then there's a little onside kick on the other side. So definitely they are not playing traditional football and kicking the ball deep. Up 60-21.
I mean, over the past couple of seasons, Coach, we have seen the Cubs make scores of well past 50, 60, even into the 70-point range. So this is not an uncommon thing here for the Cubs to do this. And really, when they get on the accelerator, they just don't get off of it.
No, and you're talking about a 4-time CIF champion in San Diego section. So this is a good program, a proud program, who's losing by 39 points. In just the start of the third quarter.
So this will set the ball back to the 20. I would imagine they're still going to squib it, Coach.
You get it if they're at the 40, they're at half field. They're at midfield.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they change their strategy or they don't mind defending 30 yards of a field.
Yeah, they squib it right to one of the upmen, and just like that, it is Josh Hawkins who falls on the football. Scratch that. That is Luke Bennett falling on the football there for the Knights.
And they're going to have the ball at the 30-yard line, and they don't mind playing defense up 39 points.
That is really confident, obviously, and when you do have that lead, you can maybe take a few extra chances like that.
You have a 5-possession game already. With 5 touchdowns and 5 extra 2-point conversions. Here we go. Let's see if they can get it going.
Yeah, Hernandez back underneath center. Let's see if they can recover as Brown goes in motion. A little bit of a trip there. Tosses it out, and he makes an interception. One man to beat, and just like that, it looks like it will go to the house. Darius Zaremka. I'm not seeing any kind of flags on the field. So unfortunate, Coach, 2 interceptions in a row, and that makes the difference here.
This is a play they ran in the first half where a player got hit, a helmet-to-helmet hit, and so they've seen this play before. And he jumped on it, the defense adapted, and they're off to the races. Just tremendously athletic team, California School for the Deaf Riverside. Just impressive performance so far. And we're still, barely into the third quarter.
Yeah, we're at 5:58 here in next. Clock is continuing to roll here.
You know what? Yeah, they're running the clock.
I think it's a running clock now. Yeah,
so again, my mistake.
Yeah, we've reached the point where it's now a running clock scenario. Once you reach a certain spread in the score, CIF rules will mandate that the clock does not stop at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, mandatory for third quarter, second half to do that.
Direct snap, and looks like it'll be in, and that will count for Lucas Go.
So again, you know, you are still a CIF state champion. You have a long season if you're Foothill Christian. You want to get back on offense. You want to work on things. You've got to finish the game and do some things well that you can build on for next week.
Right.
They are by no means a bad football team. They will rebound.
Yeah.
They will correct their mistakes. They will have a great, successful season. Like I said, I would love to see these two teams play later in the season because they'll be totally different teams.
One thing, unfortunately, we don't have in CIF is the fact that we don't have a state championship playoff, and I think that's quite an unfortunate scenario, Coach. And I'm really hoping that when you see teams like this play, that might change things down the road for CIF.
Would be impressive. It would be worth seeing. I mean, this is just Southern California. You have a big state. You have Southern section. You have Central section. You have Northern section. You have San Francisco. You have LA. You have a lot of sections, a lot of good football, and it would be really, really interesting to see a state tournament.
Yeah,
for eight-man football.
My understanding, Coach, when I looked at some of the research, there's about 108 eight-man football teams spread throughout the state of California. In fact, it's one of the largest eight-man football teams around the country. I think the biggest being in the state of Nebraska at 115.
Wow.
So with 108 different schools spread throughout the Golden State, you would hope that maybe down the road the CIF would think about that state playoff type of bracket.
And these kids deserve it. The parents deserve it. The coaching staffs, the community, all the stakeholders certainly deserve to see how far they can go. These are two top-notch programs in the state.
Absolutely. So now, looking at a 68-21 deficit, the Knights at this point, Coach, with a running clock, I guess you're just trying to get things set in place as you sit for next week.
Yeah, and the clock is going to run fast, and so you're going. I mean, they don't stop the ball going out of bounds. The clock runs.
Ooh.
That's a broken play.
Yeah, Hernandez was looking for somebody, and there was nobody there. Dumps it off. Looks like it'll be a loss, though, in the backfield. Receiving this time would be Molchanov. Broken play, as you said, Coach, from what it looks like.
You know, and they're not in their comfort zone. There's no running back. It's empty. So the quarterback definitely made a mistake on that one.
Yeah, dumps it off. Even though the reception is made, it will be – actually, they'll give him credit for getting back to the original line of scrimmage. So 2nd down and 10. Back to pass. Hernandez slips in the turf, gets dumped for the sack. Credit the sack this time goes to Kai Davis.
That play has been – they've run that play 3-4 times, and – right now, in a passing situation, the Cubs are just rushing off the edge.
Hernandez back on the turf. He's
Deja vu.
He had an issue earlier in the first half where he had that hyperextension. It looks like he may be nursing that again, Coach.
And it was, I believe, the same play.
Wow, Kai Davis again. You see him again hyperextending the leg. Wow.
And that's a mismatch. Look at the difference in size and athleticism for those two players. And good sportsmanship.
Great sportsmanship there by the Cubs.
Yeah, one thing that's impressive on both sides of the field is the sportsmanship on both programs. You don't see finger pointing. You don't see people tapping out. You don't see arguing with the refs or each other.
Yeah.
You just see two well-cultured programs playing football in week one, which promises both of these schools will be very successful this year.
So they're still nursing Hernandez down on the field, so there's a timeout. Clock is stopped at 2:19 here in the third. That's the only time we're going to stop the clock is for an injury here.
I'd be interested to see. The last time we had this happen, they threw the ball deep, the first play, and got intercepted. Was it intercepted?
I believe it was, yeah.
It was, so we'll be interested to see if they...
So Hernandez limps off the field. He doesn't look too much worse for the wear, but he is limping off of the field. So nonetheless, I at this point might want to sit him down the rest of the game.
He's a competitor.
Yeah.
He's a competitor. The kid has come back. He could have very easily checked out. He's not throwing the towel in. Very, very competitive team.
So this will bring Josh Hawkins underneath center. They are looking at a 3rd and 15 scenario now. Clock will now begin to roll here at the start of the play. Hawkins with the handoff to Brown, gets tripped up after a gain of maybe 3 to 4 yards on the carry. Still will be not at the original line of scrimmage. Looking at a 4th down and long situation here.
So they go back to the option, what they do best, what they talked about doing, giving the ball to their best running back Brown on the dive option. Now they're in trouble with a behind the chains.
Looks like they will punt this one
Okay.
away here, Coach. Looks
There we
like
go.
Ryder Dennett will be back. Second punt of the night here for Dennett. Actually, he's going to keep it.
Wow.
Oh, man, that was a very daring play, and unfortunately goes no place. I think he barely got a couple of yards on that carry.
I don't think he had too much of a choice.
Yeah.
The Cubs are playing hard. I'm impressed with the intensity. They're not letting up. The players are playing as hard as they can. They don't know how to play any less than full go. I love that. I love that they're aggressive. They're pedal to the metal on offense and defense. They're not letting up.
You know, Coach, one thing I've heard from some of their players or have read that, for the Cubs, because of the lack of hearing, the visual acuity is maybe that much more intense for them, and they're able to see a lot more on the field than maybe those who are not hearing impaired.
You develop the senses you use, and I think that's a very plausible assessment. And I tell you what, just impressed. So now look where the ball is. The Cubs are poised to hit 70.
And it looks like we've had a little bit of change. Visco's in the backfield as your quarterback. Still on his feet and being wrapped up after a carry close to the first down marker, that being Lucas Go.
Now, if you might be wondering at home why they aren't playing some backups, the Cubs roster is thin.
It's very thin. It's not a big squad at all. Boy,
And they're playing hard. Look at the linemen running downfield, breaking tackles, rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. Fantastic.
So,
two-way player.
Pickup of 9, 2nd and 1 is your call. Visco on the handoff again to Lucas Go. Gets wrapped up. Man, still on his feet.
Impressive.
Wow, just muscles his way inside of the 5-yard line.
You know, I think we saw a different blocking scheme that time. I think it's the first time we had a guard pull around, maybe like a trap or a G play. Watch the left guard pull around here.
Yeah.
First time we've seen that tonight and lead up. Just a nice, well-designed play. Hard running, keeps his feet moving, shoulders are down, keeps chugging, breaking tackles. Just impressive.
That'll bring to a close the third quarter because of the running clock. So we will switch up sides here and start off the fourth quarter play with Riverside right on the edge of putting themselves back into the goal line and another score here. So they will easily get themselves potentially into that 70-point spread here.
As we said, impressive outing by the Cubs. Foothill Christian, CIF champion from San Diego, proud program, 4-time champion. They will regroup. They will improve. They'll watch the video. They'll work on their mental discipline, and they will be a force to be reckoned with in their section.
This is why this team has really gained essentially national notoriety here over the past few years, just for the strong game that they have been playing. A little bit of stumble and fumble right there. It still will maintain position here by the Cubs. Just a mishandle by Visco. In fact, just recently, Coach, there is a book out right now, a national book. It's entitled The Boys of Riverside by Thomas Fuller. It was just released earlier this month. I saw it over at Barnes & Noble and started to pick it up and reading. And Robert Fuller, who is the author of the book, just kind of talks about the whole culture, not just the whole athletic, but the whole culture of being in a deaf school type of scenario, and has painted a great picture of what this team has gone through in some of their championship years and has led them to this culture. Oh, a little miscue again. Ball is picked up, though, by Lucas Go.
That surprised me a little bit, running a reverse. But more power to him. That sounds like my next read.
Yeah, I started.
Like
I was at Barnes & Noble just a couple of weeks ago. I saw it on the shelf there. I picked it up and was reading through a chapter or two, and it's a very interesting read. So again, that book, if you want to pick it up, it's called The Boys of Riverside by Thomas Fuller, And you can likely find it on Amazon as well as probably at Barnes & Noble. I'm not getting any royalties for mentioning that. I'm just saying it's a great book. And it's great to see that the city of Riverside getting notoriety like that. On the rollout is Visco looking into the end zone, dumps it off, and in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, that being Isaiah Baxter Davis.
Something that the Cubs do that is rare is they have several athletes they're able to interchange at quarterback and running back. Just very impressive. 3-4 players at running back, 3-4 players in the quarterback position, players playing two ways, people running down the field up by 40 points. This team, the culture, you can see the culture in action and everything they're doing.
4th and goal is your situation. Visco looking to roll out again, looking into the end zone. Reverses field, has some green ahead of him. I'm surprised he didn't take it himself, but he dumps it into Baxter for the score.
And I'm surprised there were no linemen downfield.
Wow.
And they're running the clock, and he says run the clock.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we have another touchdown or not.
No, there's a flag.
Yeah. Usually when you run around that much, it's really hard for those linemen to stay back and stay behind the line of scrimmage. Very tough to do.
So very likely maybe ineligible downfield, ineligible receiver downfield.
Here we go. First down, change of possession. Let's go. Move the chains. He's telling them to move the chains over there.
First down and long. Clock is running, as you see, at 8:42 here in the 4th quarter play. Foothills with a very sizable deficit, as the Cubs were not able to take advantage of that and get it into the end zone.
Now, if you're Foothill Christian, again, you're trying to establish something, run your base offense. You're not going to make up the deficit, and there's what they want to be doing all year long, according to their head coach, is give the ball to Brown, feed him, their leading rusher, great athlete, playing two sides of the ball. A little bit too late, but you want to go into the next week with something positive that you can build on.
Brown on the carry picks up 8. I think that's his longest gain of the night, Coach.
They've keyed him all night.
Yeah, they've done an effective job on containing him. So a 2nd down and 2 scenario here for the Knights. Clock continues to roll at 7:50. Brown is your ball carrier.
There you
now
go.
He finally breaks loose. That is the Brown we probably were expecting all night long, and he finally shows up here in the 4th quarter.
And he's playing two sides of the ball, and that was an explosive burst. Impressive. Two sides of the ball, playing cornerback, down by 40, and he's running as hard as he can, showing his competitiveness.
You see his strength as well. Finally gets tackled from behind, but not until he picks up a good first down here for the Knights. Brown, once again, your ball carrier, really beginning to stiff arm, showing some muscle, picks up close to 5 on the carry.
Physical running back. Love to see that. Love to see that ornery, being ornery and being competitive and never give up. Give me the ball, Coach.
Another look at this one.
Look at that little jump cut. Changes running hands.
Oh, man, what a stiff
throws
arm.
an elbow, steps over another guy. Just impressive. Great football player.
So 2nd down and 5 is your call. On the rollout, and looks like it'll be a first down here on the carry, that being Josh Hawkins. Underneath center.
So Brown carries the ball twice. The defense collapses on him. The quarterback pulls the ball in the option and takes advantage around the corner. Got to love it.
First down now here for the Knights. Clock continues to roll at 6:30 here in the 4th.
And they're going at a fast pace.
Yeah, they are.
There's no quit in them.
There's a lot of up-tempo going on here in this series. Hawkins underneath center once again. On the play action, looking downfield. Dumps it off. And tipped out of the hands for his intended receiver, that being Jacob Hawkins.
Great defense.
Yeah, give Jasper Martinez a lot of credit for the defense there for the Cubs.
Unfortunately, every time they pass, they have a great pass rush. Great pass rush. Throw across the field, back the other way. Great defense to knock the ball away. Very, very nice play.
2nd down and 10 is their situation here for Foothills. Hawkins underneath center. Actually, there was almost an exchange to Brown. He now dumps it off, and thankfully for the Knights, goes out of bounds. It looks like Jackson Bailey was not able to handle the football.
Triple option by the new offensive coordinator who played at Air Force and installed the option. We see a dive. Reed, he pulls the ball. He sees the ball collapse. He pulls the ball. He runs around the end. Times the pitch very well, and then the second pitch of the night, they drop. Right, perfectly placed pitch.
Wow, Bailey just did not get a handle on it. It'll be a 3rd and 3 situation.
There you go.
And it looks like it'll be, actually, it is still remaining on his feet. A lot of wrestling going on, and finally brought down inside of the 5, that being Jackson Bailey.
Excellent football program. I mean, there's no quit in them. Look at that effort. Much easier to go down a little bit, little speed option, and he crosses the entire field. 1, see how many he makes miss. 1,
Look
2,
at that, 2.
Keeps his feet. 3, great balance. Keeps his feet moving. Great blocking downfield.
Gets
Wrestles.
wrapped up. Just stiff arms it. Now on the carry, it is Brown into the end zone for the touchdown.
There you go.
That's what they've been looking for all night. They finally got it to go.
And they'll be able to build on that, and that's the program we expect to see the rest of the year. That's what they do best.
Take another look at this, Coach. Hawkins on the give to Brown.
I mean, he's quick on his feet. He's in the end zone before you know it, untouched. And you're talking about a team down by 40 playing like the game's tied.
They'll do the kick for the point after attempt.
And I think this is a case of just working on something.
That's
Sometimes
true.
you just want to work on things. You're not going to win the game. He was very high on the kicker, said that he was very, very good.
Nice. So it now makes it 68-28. Clock is rolling at about 3:30 now.
If that's an impressive drive, good drive. And now they got a little step in them. They're jogging off the field. Clock's running. Let's see if we can get a kickoff. Nobody's in a hurry right now. You got 3:18 and counting.
So obviously the Cubs looks like they're going to come up with their first win of the season. That's a nice way to start off a campaign here for 2024.
It is, and you look at that screen. Look at the passion of Coach Adams. Look at that passion. He is coaching like it's a game where it's tied. A lot of passion, the communication. He's teaching technique. You love to see that, the whole staff up there coaching. Still, wouldn't it be very easy to sit back and just run the clock out?
So the Cubs will definitely go to a 1-0. They will move on next weekend here and face off against Avalon. And that'll be over in Avalon.
In Catalina?
In Catalina.
Impressive.
Wow.
That'd be a nice road trip.
Well,
Let's go do that game.
Well, I love it. Well, catch this one, Coach. Catch this one on, let's see here, October the 12th. They're going to play against the Texas School for the Deaf in Austin, Texas.
Oh, wow.
So let's see if we can get a plane ticket. Let's see if we get Riverside TV to head out there.
I'd love to do that. I mean,
let's do it.
They've earned a new fan. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of their coaching staff, how hard they play, their culture, their scheme. They have just been very impressive. Play very good football.
And now a pickup by Visco. He takes the ball right about his own 10-yard line and is finally brought down right at about the 17.
See if we get one more snap, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. The clock is obviously rolling here at 1:46.
So if you're still tuned in and you have a chance to come and see the Cubs play,
yeah,
definitely worth a trip to come down. It's a great atmosphere. They play very good football. You're going to see some kids playing their hearts out at a high athletic level. Great fans, supportive atmosphere, a lot of families, a lot of kids. Just impressive.
The Cubs will also be playing another out-of-state contest. Actually, that might be here, from what I understand, against Maryland School for the Deaf. You know what, Coach? What's really been great is I think the Cubs have been inspirational for other institutes where they do have hearing-impaired students as well.
Sure. You would never know it, and you shouldn't. And look at that.
Look at that. Visco, he's going to go all the way. So now we're going to get into that 70-point range.
Wow.
Let's see. Any flags on the field? Hopefully not.
And you can't claim running the score up. You're just running the ball. You're running a base play.
Yeah.
They're just still playing at a high level.
And it's not your starting quarterback.
No, and it's passion. They're passionate. They want to play football. They love the game.
Check
There's
this out.
no quit in them.
Visco just drops back with a couple of steps. Looks downfield. Look at how things open up for him, Coach. Great blocking.
Blocking downfield.
Yeah.
Blocking 20 yards downfield. That's the same play, that quarterback draw just broke outside and look at the Foothill kids chasing the ball still. I mean, they're still playing hard.
Wait, are they
calling it back?
They are calling it back.
That'll be the game. It's 16 seconds left. Come on over, coach says. Let's celebrate our victory. I'm telling you, I'm impressed, JR. It's been fun tonight. It's been an eye opener for me personally, having coached for a long time and been in Riverside for 20 years, and I'm going to come and see them play. They just are an impressive program.
So as the clock winds to 0, that is it. That'll wrap up the ball game. And the California School for the Deaf in Riverside with the Cubs, they wind up with a 68-28 win over the Knights of Foothills out of El Cajon. You know, as you said, Coach, Foothills is a very good ball club. They obviously had a lot of miscues tonight, a lot of penalties tonight. They had injuries, obviously, be a situation there, as both squads will now shake hands at midfield, but it is a very good program.
And there were some signs, if you didn't know better, that you did not see them turn on each other. You didn't see people overreacting. They still ran their base plays. They kept lining up and playing hard. They're still chasing the ball with 20 seconds left. They make a drive down 40 points and drive, the length of the field. So this is a very good program. It's even more of an impressive win for the Cubs, and they should be looking forward to a huge year.
So from what I understand here, let me correct myself. I think the game against Avalon is actually back here again here at Riverside from what I'm seeing on the schedule. So you can catch that right back here. Check on their website for game times. I know things kind of change up a little bit here with CIF scheduling, but nonetheless, it looks like another fine year in store here for the California School for the Deaf in Riverside as they wind up with another huge victory. Well, for the coach, John Rice, I'm J.R. Ibarra and all of our Riverside TV award-winning crew. Thanks for joining us. It's the Cubs coming up on top. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.